What's good, YouTube? It's your boy Tank Be Chopping, and I'm coming at y'all with another haircut tutorial. So what we're doing on this cut is we're gonna be doing a mid to high fade, comb over, and we're gonna add the hard part. Let's go. So the first thing I'm gonna do on this haircut, guys, is I'm gonna start off by parting his hair, clipping his hair over, that way none of this hair gets in the way. We are gonna be putting the hard part in there with the clipper, so I got this hair all out of the way where I'm gonna add that hard part. That way it makes this part of the haircut easier for me, and we're going short all the way up to the part. So I'm gonna start by putting my initial bald guideline. I am standing in the way, I apologize for that, guys, but I'm putting my initial bald guideline. I got my Babyliss Silver FX, and I'm putting a soft line in it, meaning I'm not turning my clipper the opposite way and putting it in like an edge up. I'm just coming up with the clipper and I'm flicking out towards that line. And since we are gonna be doing a mid to high fade, I'm not really worried about his C-cup, so we went ahead and we cut that part off. And remember, guys, the majority of my fades, I like to drop in the back, so as you can see, that's what I'm doing. When I do higher fades, I don't tend to drop it too much, so it is just a slight drop, nothing major, but that's just something I like to do because I like to give myself a little more room in the back. So now I got my rose gold shaver from Babyliss. And as you can see, I'm coming right up to that line. Well, actually, I'm right below that line, and I'm flicking out the closer I get to that line. And we're gonna take down all this side down the skid just to make sure it's nice and smooth, and it's as short as we can possibly get it. So now we're gonna get into the actual fade work. I'm using my Andis cordless masters. My lever is fully open and I'm coming up about 3/4 of an inch. And towards the top of that line, I'm making sure I'm flicking out slightly. That way I don't create such a harsh line. So remember, guys, you want to stay consistent with this. So I'm going to do this a couple times just to make sure that that line is straight, and also to make sure all that hair beneath it is that length. Then I'm going to adjust that lever slightly, come right below that. And I'm going to close my lever a little bit more, come below that. And I'm going to close it all the way and just flick out that bottom line. So the good thing about these masters, guys, is they have notches on them. You can see where you're at with the fading and the lever. I really don't even look at them most of the time. You know, I just adjust them as I feel needed. As you can see, that's what I'm doing here. I'm doing some slight detail work, but that's just how I cut hair with the masters, guys. I don't really use those notches as a guideline. I just close and open the clipper as I feel needed. So now I got my number 1 guard on my clipper. My lever is fully open, and I'm coming up another section, and I am continuing to use that flick out motion towards the top of that section. And remember, guys, we do want to keep it consistent, so we are going to go over that a couple times before we start our next step. So as you can see, I just adjusted my lever slightly closed. It was about halfway. I went up right under what I did, and then I closed it all the way, and I'm attacking that bottom guideline. And as you can see, I do some slight lever play after that. Just some small detail work, so I don't have to do too much detail work at the end of the cut. So now I got my number 2 guard on my clipper. My lever is fully open, and I'm taking this all the way up to that part. And I'm just trying to knock off all that excess hair, just trying to get that all down to that length. And then I'm gonna close my clipper and come right below what I just did and try to knock off that guideline. And as you can see, it's already looking pretty faded. Obviously, there's some more detail work that I'm gonna have to do, but for the most part, it's looking all right. You know, I got a little bit more work to do, but it's coming together, guys. All right, so now I'm gonna start working my way back down. So I have my number 1 guard back on there. My lever is open and I'm attacking dark spots and just really trying to touch up some of these dark areas and these lines that I do see. And I will be adjusting that lever as needed. And remember guys, this is part of just part of my detail process. I start to touch up them dark lines and try to make sure I get this fade looking nice. So now I got my clipper all the way open. There's no guard on there, but I am doing some small detail work. So as you can see, I'm doing corner blending and I'm just using just the edge of my blade. I'm not using the whole blade. I want to make sure I'm just tapping at these dark spots and try not to take too much hair off. So as you can see, I'm adjusting that lever. Really, I'm just adjusting it as needed just to make sure I get rid of some of these dark areas. So he does have some dark areas still in his fade. So that is the reason for me adjusting that lever so much. There's some at the bottom, some at the top. And I just want to do what I can to make sure this fade looks blurry. Now I got my trimmers back in my hand and I'm trying to knock out that bottom line. And as you can see, just hitting that bottom line made this fade look so much better. Like it already looks like it's almost completely done. Now I'm just doing some more detail work. And you want to make sure you use either a fade brush or a comb just to take off that extra debris so you can actually see what the clipper is doing and actually see how much hair you're cutting. So I don't know if y'all paid attention to this, but this is actually the Fat Master blade on my cordless masters. I do have 2 pairs of masters. One has a Fat Master blade and one has a regular blade. This is the one with the Fat Master blade, and I'm just attacking them dark spots using this to detail more of that haircut. And I do know that the Fat Master blade all the way open comes to about a 2 blade. So that basically translates to about a 1.5 with the guards. So I know how high I can come with that 2 blade or with that Fat Master all the way open to make sure this blend comes together. And this is actually the equivalent of me putting a guard on there and just opening and closing that lever. But I like to do a lot of my detail work with my Fat Masters. All right, so now that part is done, as you can see, I'm just lining up on the side, hitting them vertical bars, making sure they're nice and straight. And I'm gonna go ahead and put in my hard part since I'm on this side and I'm already done with it. I'm following what I did previously. You know, I'm gonna go over it a couple times, make sure it's nice and straight. And as you can see, guys, I am going over the same area a couple times. I just wanna make sure that line is as straight as possible. All right, so now we're gonna fade in the opposite side. I did speed this part of the video up. We are essentially going to be doing the same steps. However, I did add some steps because he has the comb over part on this side of his hair. This is the side that he combs his hair over. So we are going to have to take some additional steps to fade in the top of this haircut in. But I am starting off the same exact way. I started with my clipper open and then I adjusted that lever closed to get that bottom line out. This is my number 1 guard. Lever was open and then I adjusted that guard to get that bottom line out. So now I'm actually using my number 4 guard. My lever is closed and I'm just flicking at that hair, trying to make the sides transition to the top. Now here's my 3 guard. I do not have the lever open, I have it closed and I'm doing the same thing I previously did. And then now here's my number 2 guard and I'm starting with my lever open, trying to make sure this all blends all together. So as you can see, I just closed that lever and this is basically gonna bring most of this fade together, well, this part of the fade. But as you can see, I put my 1/8 on there and I'm just doing some small detail work and I'm fading back down. That way I can basically make this fade come together. So now I got my lever open and I'm just doing some detail work, adjusting that lever as needed to get rid of these lines and these dark spots. Same thing on this side, guys. I am using that Fat Master blade and I'm using it to do some detail work. So that was my number 3 guard. This is my number 2 guard. Now I'm gonna do some clipper over comb, just get all them little excess hairs that I missed, and just make sure this part of the haircut comes together nice. And as you can see, the fade's looking pretty good already. We still gotta do the back, we still gotta cut the top, and then we still gotta edge them up. But yeah, it's coming together, guys. So the same thing that I did on both sides, I'm actually doing to the back. Now I know a lot of times, or I know some of y'all might give me a hard time about this. It looks like I just killed that crown area. But since we did do a high fade and we went short up to the part, it just didn't look right with it being longer in the back. So personally, I felt I had to bring that down. This client does like his fades, higher. So he liked it and I liked it. And I think that's what matters most, you know what I'm saying? Like some people would tell me, or some people would say that that's the incorrect way of doing it. You shouldn't do that. You shouldn't do that. But if your client likes it, and if your client thinks it looks good, then you need to tend to your client and do what your client asks, not what these other barbers or these people on the internet try to tell you what to do. Listen to your client and give your client the best haircut you can possibly give them. And like I said, as long as they're happy, that's all that matters. So I do want to say I appreciate y'all for watching this video, guys. If y'all haven't done so, please smash that like button right quick. It takes like 2 seconds just to tap that button. If you haven't done so, make sure to subscribe to this channel one time for your boy. And leave a comment in the section below, man. Like if y'all like this video, if y'all like these cuts that I've been putting out, let me know. If you don't like them, let me know. If y'all would have kept the crown a little fuller, let me know. Like I said, guys, I'm always up for any type of criticism, whether it's good or bad. I'll read all my comments. If you have any questions or concerns, feel free to drop a comment down below. But yeah, guys, y'all see what I'm doing here, man. I'm just working, man. I appreciate y'all for rocking with me. And remember, guys, when we do the back, you want to make sure you tie in those, the back to the left side and the right side. So that's what I'm doing here. As you can see, I turned them one way and I adjusted that right side of the fade. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the left side of the fade. And remember, that's just so this whole blend just comes all together so it looks like all one haircut. Alright, now I'm doing some shear work on top. He just wanted a slight trim, so I'm taking off maybe about 1/4 of an inch. Normally I cut the top first, but since he comes every couple weeks and he just wanted a trim, I decided to leave this part for last. But if he had like really long hair and he wanted to take off like 1 inch or 2, then I would have did that part of the haircut first. So I'm just cross-checking my work, making sure it's all even, making sure it's all the same length.
Damn it, Tito. Another one.
Alright, so now I'm just lining them up in front. I normally clip the hair up and out of the way to line these guys up, but I guess I was running behind, or maybe I don't know, but for whatever reason, I'm just using the comb to hold his hair up. And it does the same thing, guys. You just want to get that hair out of the way so you can actually see the lineup. Now I'm moving on to my razor work, and I'm just going over everything I did with the trimmers. I'm just going over all that with my razor, make sure all these lines are on point, make sure this haircut looks sharp. Now we're gonna style the top. I did grab some smooth pomade, and as you can see, I'm just applying that to his hair, and I'm just combing his hair the way he normally combs it. That way he can actually see a finished product of the haircut. Alright guys, this is the finished product. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this haircut down in the comments below. I think I did this man right. This fade looks pretty blurry to me. I got his edge up on point, you know, styling it looks good. You got the hard part in there. We did everything he asked for. I did add some enhancements on his lineup. I did not record that, but I did do that. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this cut, guys. Hit that like button if you haven't done so already. And also remember, guys, if you haven't done so, please subscribe one time for your boy. But I appreciate y'all, YouTube. Until next time.